Hi guys, so we are going to take a look at the fourth assignment Davis assigned to us called Odd or Even. The basic premise of this assignment was to take a integer value and respond in the console telling us whether the integer value was odd or even. So the code I turned in was fairly basic. I had some stuff I needed to do, so I didn't go too much in depth with it. But I wanted to get a little creative because I always like to add some creativity to the code. So we'll get into that. Um, hold on, I need to say unused variable. We don't end up using this, but we'll go ahead and get right into it. So I have imported a scanner. I'm using a scanner again. Again, I can't stress how freaking useful the scanner command is. Just get into the hand of importing it and using it. It'll make your life so much easier. Public class odd or even, and we have a public static void main, beginning method main, beginning class. Fairly common comments you should make, as well as end method, end class. So I've instantiated the scanner. I've given it the name user input this time. I have a string named foo, which is just used, which is unassigned, which will be used for user input. I have integer bar, which is the initial integer to determine odd or even. So this is the integer the user will input to check on whether and see that integer itself is odd or even. And then bar 2 is just an empty integer to store the remainder, because we're going to be using the modulus command, or modulus like function. And then we have an unused variable. So I went ahead and began my assignment with a little creativity. So I just have a print line. It's going to print out the statement, "Hello, welcome to Ezra's program. Before you can access the assignment, please enter the entry code." And then I'm going to go, boop, just like that. So it looks a little bit more uniform. And then it's going to give you a hint. What is my name? Oh, I see why I had a period. Hint, what is my name? And then if we would go ahead and run it, I'll show you what that looks like. Oh, yeah, there it is. Hello, welcome to Ezra's program. Before you can access the assignment, please enter the entry code. Hint, what is my name? So we can go ahead and enter whatever, as long as it's a string and not an integer, because we enter an integer. Oh no, access denied. My name is not 1. So, yeah. Hint, what is my name? So, we are looking for next. So, next is a broad term. It allows you to input anything. But if we put like next line, and then we re-entered it, and then put 1, it'd still work. But next is like a broad term. Doesn't specify anything. Next line is looking for a string. So, next line. I'm going to do that just because it's easier to understand when you're reading it. But, just a reminder, next works just fine. So we're going to store the user input in the string variable foo, and then we're going to check if the foo equals, or if foo equals ignore case, because people might give me capitalize my first letter or not, Ezra, then we're going to run the actual assignment. Otherwise, say access denied, my name is not formatted string, and then in the place of formatted string, put whatever was stored in foo. So we're going to go ahead and put Ezra. Enter an integer. I'll respond with odd or even. So after it checks, it's going to go to this line right here, system.out.print. Enter an integer. I'll respond with odd or even. Now you're probably wondering, Ezra, what the hell is this right here? You have a backslash, quotes, the word, backslash, and quotes. But down here it just has quotes. So this is syntax to put quotes around words within quotes. Because if I got rid of this, I'm going to break it. Because it's going to have this quote right here, and it's going to read all the way here, and then it's going to end with this quote, and then I have random words, and then another quote, and it's going to end with that quote right there. So Control Z that. If you put a backslash right here, quote, odd, backslash, quote, it's going to put quotes around the word that you are trying to put quotes around. So just a little bit of syntax. I'll put the page number that is in the book in the description if I remember. Otherwise, you can come talk to me. I'll remember it if you come talk to me directly. So it's going to respond with odd or even and tell you whether the number in question was odd or even. And then, so we're going to take that empty bar, the unassigned integer, and we're going to assign it a integer that the user inputs. And then we're going to use the modulus command and store it to bar2, that other empty integer. And we're going to do a basic math, which is bar modulus 2, which basically does bar divided by 2 and takes whatever the decimal point is as its remainder, that first decimal point value, and stores it instead of giving you the actual number. So if we did like 10 divided by 2, it's going to store the value of 0 because there is no remainder. But if we do like 9 divided by 2, it's going to take whatever the first decimal point value is and store that as its remainder. So the way that this works is basically if bar 2 equals 0, it's going to be even because 2 goes in evenly to every even number. And then if it doesn't equal 0, it's obviously odd. 1 through 9 or whatever is odd. So just as an example, we'll do 10 even because 10 modulus 2 is 0. But if we run it and I put 9, oh shit, access denied, what is my name? Put in my name, put in 9, odd. That's what the modulus command does. So again, put in Ezra, put in 126, even. That's simple stuff. But for the actual assignment, Davis wanted us to write, he wanted it to say what the value was and that it's even. So I'm going to change this up a little bit right now. Or I'm going to leave it like this, and I'm just going to put in system.out.printf, so printf again. Again, you could use just a print line and do the plus after the quotes and put the variable you want, but printf is my way of choice. The value of the integer is %d, and it is even with a remainder of %d, period. And we're going to have an argument of foo, or bar, excuse me, bar and bar 2. Put that at the end. Let's go ahead and rerun it. What is my name? My name is Ezra. And then we're going to do 10. The value of the integer is 10, and it is even with a remainder of 0. Now, if we go ahead and do every programmer's favorite part of programming, which is just copy-paste, it is odd with a remainder of bar and bar 2. I don't know why. Oh, I'm doing this in a completely wrong else statement. It needs to go into this else statement right here. So the reason why I couldn't use it in that one is because those variables were instantialized or initiated and instantiated right into this if statement right here. So that means it is only going to run from this bracket so it's only going to run within this bracket right here, not in this else bracket. So yeah, just right here is the only place it'll work. So if I run it, what is my name? Ezra. And we're going to put 9. The value of the integer is 9 and is odd with a remainder of 1. Simple stuff. So we could use preset values, like which is what I'm going to encourage you guys to do. Do a simple command, just do an integer bar equals 2, and then do a bar 2, integer bar 2, have it be empty, and then just do bar 2 is equal to bar modulus 2, which is just bar space percent space 2, semicolon, and then do system.out.printf. The value of the integer is %d, and it is even with the remainder of %d, and just obviously put that in an if statement, checking and seeing if the remainder is equal to 0. And you'll be good to go. So just kind of follow this right here. This is what you should follow. But just try and do preset values rather than inputting it up here. Again, Dropbox or the Google Drive will be down in the description. When you finish this code, go ahead and send it to me. I'll give you the A-OK if you did it correctly, or I'll answer any questions you might have. The link to Stack Underflow or Overflow will be over there in the description, as well as the description of what the task was and is for this episode. So I hope that this helped you understand the fundamentals of the modulus command and checking whether a number is odd or even. So see you guys in the next episode.